Borderline personality disorder, BPD, in children and adolescents, early diagnosis and its impact on development. Borderline personality disorder, BPD, is typically diagnosed in adults, but the early signs of the disorder often emerge during childhood or adolescence. Identifying BPD early can be challenging, as many of its symptoms, such as emotional instability, identity confusion, and relationship difficulties, are common during adolescence. However, when recognized early, diagnosis and intervention can have a profound impact on an adolescent's emotional development, relationships, and overall well-being. In this episode of the Borderline Personality Disorder, BPD, podcast, we will explore the importance of early diagnosis of BPD in children and adolescents and how it can influence healthy development. By understanding the significance of early intervention, we can work toward providing support and treatment that prevents the disorder from impacting the individual's life into adulthood. 1. What is borderline personality disorder, BPD? Borderline personality disorder, BPD, is a complex mental health condition characterized by intense emotional dysregulation, a fear of abandonment, unstable relationships, and identity disturbances. While it is traditionally diagnosed in adulthood, symptoms often begin in adolescence or early adulthood. BPD is frequently misunderstood, with individuals being labeled as difficult or unpredictable, but the reality is that BPD involves deep emotional pain and fear that are often triggered by interpersonal difficulties. For adolescents, recognizing BPD early can be particularly important because it allows for appropriate treatment to address emotional struggles before they lead to more significant relational, academic, and personal challenges. Key fact: emotional dysregulation and impulsivity are two of the core features of BPD, which can be difficult to manage during the adolescent years when emotions and social relationships are already intense. Early diagnosis provides an opportunity to prevent these challenges from becoming ingrained or leading to more severe issues later in life. 2. Early signs of BPD in children and adolescents. While diagnosing BPD in young people is complex, there are certain signs and symptoms that can indicate the presence of the disorder. Recognizing these signs early can help ensure that adolescents receive the support they need to navigate their emotions and relationships. 2.1 Emotional instability. Adolescents with BPD often experience extreme mood swings that are out of proportion to the situation. They may feel euphoric one moment and then suddenly shift to anger, anxiety, or sadness. This emotional instability can lead to difficulties in regulating their reactions, particularly in stressful or emotionally charged situations. Example: an adolescent may become incredibly upset over a minor disagreement with a friend, crying uncontrollably or expressing intense anger. These reactions can create tension in relationships and lead to feelings of frustration or confusion from peers and family members. 2.2 Fear of abandonment. A pervasive fear of abandonment is a key feature of BPD. Adolescents with BPD may become clingy, overly dependent on others, or experience severe anxiety when they perceive that someone close to them is withdrawing or may abandon them. This fear can manifest in excessive reassurance-seeking behaviors or emotional outbursts when the adolescent feels rejected. Example: an adolescent with BPD might become extremely anxious if a close friend stops texting or cancels plans. They may react by over-communicating or making drastic efforts to ensure the relationship doesn't end, sometimes resulting in clinging or driving people away. 2.3 Impulsivity and risk-taking behaviors. Impulsivity is common in adolescents and young adults, but for those with BPD, it can escalate into risky or self-destructive behaviors, such as substance abuse, reckless driving, unsafe sexual activity, or self-harm. This impulsivity may be a coping mechanism for emotional pain or a way of seeking relief from intense feelings. Example: an adolescent might engage in impulsive behaviors such as binge eating, alcohol or drug use, or spending large sums of money in an attempt to feel better in the moment. These behaviors can cause long-term damage if not addressed early. 2.4 Relationship difficulties. Adolescents with BPD often experience unstable relationships, swinging between idealizing others and then suddenly devaluing or rejecting them. This idealization-devaluation cycle can create emotional turmoil and make it difficult for the adolescent to maintain healthy, Balanced relationships. Example, a teenager with BPD might initially form a close bond with a new friend or partner, believing they are perfect, only to later become angry or distant when the person behaves in a way that causes the adolescent to feel rejected or neglected. These unpredictable shifts in relationships can cause significant social isolation. 2.5 Identity confusion. Adolescents with BPD often have a fragmented sense of self. They may struggle to understand who they are, what they want, or what they believe in. This identity disturbance can lead to frequent changes in their values, goals, or self-image, making it difficult for them to commit to long-term goals or maintain a stable sense of identity. Example, a teenager with BPD may constantly change their personal style, interests, or friend group, reflecting an unstable sense of who they are. This can contribute to feelings of confusion and low self-esteem. 2.6 Self-harm and suicidal thoughts. Self-harm, such as cutting or burning, and suicidal thoughts are common in adolescents with BPD, as they struggle with emotional distress and a lack of healthy coping strategies. These behaviors are often ways of expressing emotional pain or attempting to gain control over overwhelming emotions. Example, a teenager with BPD might engage in self-harming behaviors, such as cutting, when feeling emotionally overwhelmed, or they might express suicidal thoughts during moments of intense emotional distress. 3. Why early diagnosis of BPD is important. Early diagnosis and treatment of BPD can make a significant difference in the emotional and social development of adolescents. Left untreated, the symptoms of BPD can lead to chronic difficulties in relationships, academic struggles, and mental health problems that persist into adulthood. Early intervention provides an opportunity to address these issues before they become deeply ingrained. 3.1 Prevents worsening symptoms. Early diagnosis and treatment help prevent the escalation of symptoms. Adolescents with BPD who are not given the tools to manage emotional dysregulation and impulsivity may continue to experience worsening emotional instability and relationship challenges as they age, leading to more severe symptoms in adulthood. Key fact: with appropriate treatment, such as dialectical behavior therapy, DBT, adolescents can learn skills for managing intense emotions, coping with impulsivity, and improving relationships, which can significantly reduce the impact of BPD over time. 3.2 Promotes healthy development. Adolescents with untreated BPD may struggle with self-esteem and identity formation, which are critical aspects of healthy development. Early diagnosis can provide therapeutic support to help them build a stronger, more resilient sense of self and better coping strategies for emotional challenges. Key fact: therapy that emphasizes emotional regulation, self-compassion, and healthy boundaries can help adolescents build a stable identity and a strong foundation for future growth. 3.3 Reduces risk of comorbid conditions. BPD is often comorbid with other mental health conditions, such as anxiety, depression, and eating disorders. By diagnosing and treating BPD early, we can reduce the risk of these comorbid conditions developing and help the adolescent address emotional struggles before they evolve into more serious issues. Key fact: therapeutic intervention for BPD can reduce the risk of self-harm, substance abuse, and suicidal ideation, improving long-term outcomes for adolescents with the disorder. 4. Treatment approaches for adolescents with BPD. 4.1 Dialectical behavior therapy, DBT. DBT is the most effective treatment for adolescents with BPD. It focuses on teaching emotion regulation, mindfulness, distress tolerance, and interpersonal effectiveness. DBT helps adolescents learn how to manage overwhelming emotions and cope with the stress and anxiety that often accompany BPD. 4.2 Mentalization-based therapy, MBT. MBT is another therapeutic approach that can help adolescents with BPD by focusing on improving their ability to understand their own emotions and the emotions of others. This therapy is particularly effective for addressing issues with identity and relationship instability. 4.3 Family therapy. Involving the family in therapy can also be incredibly helpful, as it encourages better communication and support between the adolescent and their loved ones. Family therapy can also help family members understand the nature of BPD and learn how to support the adolescent effectively. 5. Conclusion. Early diagnosis of borderline personality disorder, BPD, in children and adolescents is crucial for preventing long-term emotional and relational difficulties. By recognizing the early signs of BPD and providing appropriate treatment, we can significantly improve an adolescent's ability to manage emotions, build healthy relationships, and navigate the challenges of growing up. With early intervention, adolescents with BPD can learn to cope with their emotional struggles, build a more stable sense of self, and develop healthy coping strategies that will serve them throughout their lives. In future episodes, we will continue to explore effective treatment options, support strategies, and the role of family in helping adolescents with BPD. Stay tuned for more insights into borderline personality disorder and the importance of early intervention in shaping a positive future.